We are back again with another video. Today, I'm not installing anything, but I do have an issue where my trunk has water in it. I have already removed all the liners, and then I already got the water out with a towel. So there was a puddle that's, I would say, about half an inch up here, but as you can see, I didn't realize it until the smell started coming through the car. So after looking through online and just researching, apparently a lot of people have leaks into the trunk. So today is more of like trying to troubleshoot and diagnosing where the water is leaking from. There are a couple of places that the water could be entering into the trunk, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. Okay. One of the places that the water could come through is this little vent right here where the bumper is located. So this vent is actually coming out through the bottom of this port right here. So let me go ahead and get the lights on. But it's, I don't know if you can see it, but it's right there. So when you wash your car, just be careful of where you're spraying. Just make sure you don't spray into it and the water could get in through there. So what I will do is I'm going to test it out. Just get a water hose and just spray in there and see if the water actually make it through. If that is the case, then our culprit is this little vent right here, and we'll need to maybe seal it up, and that might fix the problem. The other spot that water could come through is this little, I would say, where the water exit on your soft top. So it's really hard to see, but if you look in there with a flashlight, there will be a small opening, a hole where the water will exit. It's really hard to show but on camera, but if you do it in person, you will see there's a small water exit passage there. It's one on each side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test all the possibility and see whether the water is happening in that vent or there's a blockage in this water hole. Okay, I'm not sure you guys can see that. I did spray some water under the vent, and I think we found a culprit. The water is leaking through one of the opening over here and made it to the trunk. So I think we found our main suspect, but let's try the other one too, just to make sure that we clear all possible leak. Okay, so another area that the water could be leaking from is from the tail light. There is a little gap right here when you install the tail light that will allow the water that goes from the trunk all the way down and into the crack. And when we had a huge rainstorm, it would go through this little opening or gap right here, and eventually made it through and was leaking through this little gap right here. Sometimes it even leaked through where one of the part of the tail light is at as well. So what I did was grab some silicone sealant and just seal up the entire gap of the tail light. That way when the water goes through, it doesn't leak through and then into the trunk. I did the same thing for the driver's side as well. So probably best to just get some silicone sealant and just seal up the entire gap. That way the water doesn't go through and leak through into your truck. So that's another spot that I missed. Found out a couple of days later after a huge rainstorm that came in. I opened my trunk, found that there were water in there. So there was another possible area that water could be leaking from. So with this test, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pour a little bit of water in here, and I'm expecting the water to flow all the way through down this hole and then throughout the car. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour a little bit of water in here. And as you can see, the water is flowing out as expected. So that means the water exit hole right there is not clogged up. So we're going to do the other side as well. And as you can see, the water flowed down just fine. So that means that hole isn't clogged either. And our main culprit is actually the vent in the trunk. So what we need to do is we have to take off the rear bumper and then use some kind of seal, could be silicone or whatever, and seal all the way around the edges, and then put the vent back. And then that way it will prevent anytime you're washing in your car, the water from coming through and then inside your trunk. This trunk does not look pretty right now, so I'll probably have to get some kind of rust paint and paint over it so the rust would stop from spreading. So let's go ahead and get that done. Okay, next up we're going to remove the rear bumper. It's only held by on a few clips. There's 3 up here. There's 2 more towards the bottom. 1 here, and then 1 here, and then there's a screw behind on each side near the rear wheel, and that's all you have to do to remove the bumper. One thing I forgot to mention, don't forget to unplug the light harness. And then what I'm going to do now is going to remove this vent. Probably going to clean up something mess around here too. So let's go ahead and get this piece removed, clean this area up, and then I'll show you what to do next. Okay. So to remove the vent, we need to push these clips in, 1 here, 1 that side, and then once it come out, we should just be able to pull it out. So I think the water got in is probably this foam seal right here. It's probably worn out and the water was able to seep through and then into the trunk. So what I'm going to do is get some silicone sealant, put a generous amount around here and around here, and then just slap it in, and hopefully that will seal it tight, and so that will prevent water from coming in the future. Yep, so I think I have pretty good amount of sealant on there and on here too. So what I'm going to do next is just put it back, let it rest, and then just let it sit there until it's secure, and then hopefully water will stop coming inside the trunk. Okay, so I think I put enough sealant in there. It's a little bit messy, but that's all right. I mean, it's going to be covered by the bumper anyway, but it's sealed from the outside and also from the inside. I make sure I use plenty of sealant, that way water won't seep through. So we will let it cure overnight, and then we can test it tomorrow and just see if water comes through. And for this rusty trunk pan, that's going to be another video in the future I'll make for you guys on how to prevent the rust from getting worse. So on that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys learned something, and as always, tune in.